Hello everyone, Dirty Dan here, and in today's video we'll be taking a look at Bachmann's rendition of the Reading i10sa. First introduced in Bachmann's 1985 catalog, the i10sa makes its first appearance. Under careful inspection it becomes clear that the drive isn't the standard production drive that was sold with the Locomotive. The drive in the Locomotive shown is unknown. The Locomotive is advertised as coming with a geared drive, die-cast chassis, super detailing, an operating headlight, and of course, realistic smoke. To Bachmann's credit, the shell used on the Locomotive is very well detailed and for its time was definitely a standout. Continuing production into 1979, the Locomotive appears in three different road names: Great Northern, B&O, and unsurprisingly Reading. Now although the i10sa was only ever used on the Reading, the paint fantasy schemes that the Locomotive was available in are actually quite good and would suit any amateur modeler's collection well. In 1980, the i10sa makes a lovely appearance on the cover of the catalog. The offerings change for this year and two new variants are introduced, being the Union Pacific and i10sf. This was the real peak of variations for the i10sa, and it's all downhill from here as variations start to disappear. In 1987, two of the variations disappear, being the B&O and the i10sf. In 1992, the i10sa selection would be reduced to just two locomotives with the absence of the Reading variation. The Great Northern variant seems to have gotten a slight scheme change. In 1994, the i10sa would still hold on for its life as the newer, more updated locomotives would gradually replace them. Only one version remains, being the Union Pacific. In 1996, the i10sa leaves the catalog, never to appear again. At this point in time, the tooling had become severely outdated, and Bachmann just wasn't willing to put the money and effort into retooling it. Now that we've discussed the history, let's take a look at three of my examples of the Locomotive. On the far right is 2019, the oldest of the three being the very first version. You will notice the changes made from the catalog appearance, including a different tender font. This Locomotive was originally all black, but was repainted by yours truly. I bought the Locomotive at a train show in 2019 coincidentally. When I first bought it, it had severe mechanical and physical issues. After an extensive rebuild, it has become one of my favorite 280s of all time. Now on to the middle Locomotive, which is also 2019, but a later version. It features an updated drive with a different axle style and motor. I got the Locomotive in a trade deal not too long ago. It needed a new motor when I got it, which I have gone through and done. The bell has also been replaced on the Locomotive by the previous owner. Apart from the new motor, this Locomotive hasn't received much else. On the left, we have the newest addition to the fleet, 2000. Now this variation is actually not cataloged. I've always found this strange as there was an abundance of this specific version of the Locomotive, and it strikes me as strange that Bachmann wouldn't catalog the Locomotive. That aside, it has some issues that have yet to be addressed and shares an identical drive to the previous Locomotive. The tender interestingly features the font shown in the original appearance of the i10sa. I've never seen this font on the tenders of the 2019 variation, so it's yet another mystery as to why this phenomenon appears. That's pretty much everything on my personal collection of these logos. I plan to get the Great Northern variation at some point. Now there's something I think that I should mention about these engines. The drives are notoriously poor and difficult to get operational. There is, however, a lesser known example of the drive known as the Plus drive. They are extremely smooth and much easier to work on and get working. With all of this in mind, I think I'll save the Bachmann split chassis discussion for another day. I hope you all enjoyed this look back at the history of Bachmann's i10sa. Now let's take some time to enjoy these fabulous locomotives in operation. One of the 2019s was unfortunately not willing to cooperate today, so it won't be running during the session. This video came out way later than it was supposed to, so sorry for the wait, people.